Hello everyone, welcome to Inside the Quality Awards. My name is Ralph Peterson, and in this video we are going to go over question P1B1 of the Bronze Quality Award application. And before we jump into it, let me just say that although all the questions in the Bronze Quality Award are, of course, important and significant, I would argue that there are actually 3 questions that stand out, i.e. are more important than the rest, in my opinion. And this question, P1B1 of the Bronze, is the first most important question of the Bronze Quality Award. You cannot afford to get this question wrong. All right, here we go. P1B1 again, most important, one of the most important questions. And you know what's super interesting about this question is that the entire application, the entire bronze application, the entire silver application, the entire gold application, if we're shooting for the moon, of course, they're all made up of only 3 types of questions. There are who questions, what questions, and how questions. And what's so interesting about this question is it has all 3. It starts with a who question, then it's a what question, and then it is a how question. Here we go. Let's get right into it. First part, who are your principal? This just simply means another word for key or most important customer groups. Look at this parenthetical. In addition to residents, identify up to 3. So 2 things of note here. Number 1, residents has to be listed first. You have to list residents or include residents in your list. If you call them patients, then you're going to call them patients. If you call them customers or veterans or whatever you call them, no worries. They have to be first. You have to include your most important customer, which is the resident. Number 2, up to 3 more. So you can have a total of 4. You can have a total of 4 customers, no more than 4. So residents and then up to 3 more. So you can't have 5, can't have 6, you can have 4. In my humble my humble opinion, I would invite you to consider 3 principal groups. It's unlikely that you have 4, 5, 6 anyway. 4 is tough. 3 is manageable, especially when we get into the silver and the gold application. But for now, you can list up to 4. Okay, so let's say that we say, I'm going to give you some prime examples. A lot of times we'll say family members are a customer group, or I'm going to do RP, responsible party, the responsible party, or loved ones. Like we can call them whatever we want. Oftentimes, we'll also see people that will consider their employees as a customer, which is reasonable, totally acceptable, totally fine. Call them staff, call them employees, whatever. Caregivers, whatever. And then the number 4, just again as examples, I've seen, it's reasonable to say that a hospital is a customer. Maybe your feeder hospital or AHCA is your customer. Or maybe you be more specific and you say your discharge, maybe you consider your discharge planners a key customer. Or maybe there is a community group that you consider a customer, right? Like whoever you consider a key, most important customer. Here's what I would just invite you to be cautious of. Be cautious of saying the community. Even though it would make sense because you're probably the largest employer in town, and you could even say the medical. A lot of people even put the medical community at large, or the seniors in our community, the senior community outside of our 4 walls, respectively. We consider them a key customer. I would say here at the bronze level, it would work. I would totally go, yep. Every one of these would work. Every one of these. Of course, this one is a must, right? So I'm going to do a little check plus. You have to do the resident. All of these would work at the bronze level. Anything you tell us at the bronze level here, anything you say as a customer for you, we would accept. But it's going to get a little tricky when we get to the third part of the question. And when we get to the silver and the gold, we have to be very, very specific and selective on who we are considering a key customer because of engagement purposes. It's a conversation for the silver and for the gold, but the clear point is a key customer, somebody who is, again, just to use the language of the application, a principal customer is someone you have constant contact with. You have the ability to communicate with them, and you have the ability to listen to them. When you're talking about when you say that the medical community, the entire medical community is our customer, are you interacting with them every day and not like 1-2 pieces of them, but all of them? No. Are you able to reach all of them with your communication? I mean, even if you're really good at social media, whatever, and most of the people are hearing from you, not everybody's hearing from you. And then how is everybody getting that feedback back to you? When you address like the whole community is our customer, just with peace and love, that's a hard one to defend or to demonstrate, prove further in the silver application. Here at the bronze, say what you want. Okay. Part 2. First it was a who question, now it's a what question. What is the important requirements of each group? Meaning, what do they want? What do they want? And I'm just going to do the resident one. I'm not going to fill out the whole thing. I'm just going to do the resident one as an example. But residents, and again, use your words, don't use mine, although I imagine your residents probably want the same thing as my residents. So what do my residents want? My residents want open communication. They want meaningful activities. They want 7-day-a-week activities. They want choice of care. They want great food. They don't want good food. They want great food. They want good clinical outcomes, right? Like just think about all the things that your residents want, right? So you could just list, and in here, by the way, 80%, 85% of your bronze application is all written in prose, means in sentence format. You can't upload graphs, you can't give us tables, nothing like that. However, there are 2 places where the quality was going to insist that you actually put the data in a table, and this is the first one. So here, you're going to be putting in, I misspoke, not the first one, the second one. This is the second place, because you already did it with the employees. So this is the last place where they're going to ask you to use a table format. So you're going to be plugging in your customers in the first column, their key requirements, and again, just use bullet points. Just use bullet points. And now it says, what are the important requirements? What do we know? What do we know about the word important? Well, if we go back and we talk about the word key equals most important, we know 1 to 5 is the range of most important. And 3, right in the center here, is probably the ideal, right? So I would say 3 to 5, 3 even is a great number of key requirements. Identify the top 3, top 4, top 5, maybe, of your residents or your patients or your veterans' key requirements. What do they really want? Now, it says what. This last part of the question says what, but it's really a how question because it says, what is the process? What is the process you use to learn their key requirements? Meaning, how do you know that that's what they want? How do you know? What are you tracking? How do you know? Now, there's something really interesting here that I really want you to consider, and that is the difference between anecdotal and systematic. When we were talking about employees, well, we don't even have to bring that scenario up. We can just talk about residents. You probably don't have to do a survey. You don't have to take any type of a pulse of your residents in your building to know that they want good food. right? You probably know that intuitively. You probably know intuitively that they want a safe environment. Like, of course. Did you need to do a survey to find out they want a safe environment? Probably not, right? Well, all of these kinds of things that you can just kind of know intuitively, if you don't have a systematic process, i.e. a meeting time and place to learn of these, it's kind of anecdotal. It's not fact-based. And what we're really looking for is a process. What process did you use to learn? So let me give you some processes that we use to learn about the preferences, i.e. the requirements of our customers. Well, during the admission process, during the 72-hour meeting, we do baseline care plans. I'm just going to do BLCP. Baseline care plans is when we're learning about some of their requirements. Through resident council. Through quarterly care plans. Through one-on-one meetings. Through ad hoc meetings. They just show up at my door, right? Like, through surveys. Now, what I'm going to invite you to consider is, I did it on one of them. I did it here. Let me change the color of my pen real quick. I did it here with care plans. I didn't say care plans. What did I say? I said quarterly care plans. Well, what if I said instead of resident council, I said monthly resident council? What if I said instead of surveys, I said annual surveys, right? What if I said instead of one-on-one meetings, what if they were weekly one-on-one meetings, right? Now, 72-hour, of course, is a timeline. A systematic process is measurable and repeatable. The best way to understand if you have a systematic process or not is if you can assess and add a timeline to it. Is it something that repeats every month, every week, every quarter, every day? Then it's systematic. So I would invite you to consider, don't just say resident council. Say, we learn it through monthly resident council. Don't just say a survey. Say, we learn it through an annual survey. Don't just say a care plan. We learn it from a quarterly care plan. Now, what your job to do next is to do what I just did here for all of your customers. So what do family members want? Well, family members want open communication, right? Like, they often want the same thing that the residents want. I want my mom to be well fed. I want my mom to get good care. I want my mom to live in a safe place. I want you to call me if there's a problem, right? What do employees want? Well, hold on a second. Let's just back up. If you remember from the P1A4, the drivers of engagement, what are the drivers of engagement? This is what the employees want. See, so the drivers of engagement you may have already listed in P1A4 for employees. So if you're going to say, hey, you know what, we really consider our employees a customer, totally fair, totally reasonable, great. Well, what do they want? You're going to go like, well, in P1, you're going to go look at P1A4, and you're going to see what you wrote there. Bring it over here. Add some of the bullet points here. Again, how many? 1 to 5. 3 is probably the most appropriate number. And then how do you know the employees want this? Well, the truth is, the easy answer, they tell you whether you want to hear it or not. But that cannot be your answer. It has to be, it can be your answer, but with peace and love, it's probably not the appropriate answer. The answer is probably through hiring conversations. Maybe you're doing a monthly town hall or a quarterly town hall. Maybe you have a suggestion box. Maybe you have an open door policy. Maybe you do annual surveys. You're getting it, right? Same with hospitals. What do hospitals want? Well, if it's a discharge or my ACO, you know what they want? They want me to take every referral they give me. They don't want me to say no to anything. They want me to do referrals very fast. They want me to respond fast. They want me to, right? Like, what do your referral sources want? Let's say that you do say it's the medical community. Fine. Again, at the bronze level, not the greatest, but fine. Well, what does the medical community want you to do? They probably want you to be producing really good outcomes. They probably want you to be transparent in your errors. They probably, well, I don't know. I don't know. Like, what do they want? And how do you know? Okay. Who, what, how? Such a great example. Such a great example. Again, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or if there is anything I can help with, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, ralph@ralphpeterson.com. I want one thing. One thing. I want you to win. I want you to win. I want you to win. I want you to win, win, win. So if there's anything I can do to help you to win, do not hesitate. Reach out. And if you found this video helpful, do me a favor. Like it. Subscribe to my channel. Share it with a colleague. Please. See ya.